And as the Fort Lee Bridgemen take the field and the starting pitcher begins his warm-up tosses, Tommy Aquilina welcoming you back to the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex for another year of Fort Lee High School baseball action. You're watching the Fort Lee Bridgeman Athletics stream on YouTube, now streaming in HD. Tommy Aquilina welcoming you again into the booth. Jacob Greenberg on the mound. This is opening day, true opening day for the Fort Lee Bridgeman baseball team. 17-9, 6-2 in division last year, and this year another year under head coach Pete Kraljic. The Bridgemen bringing back most of the same players, so expecting big things this year. One of those players they are bringing back is Jacob Greenberg, and he's the opening day starter. You see number 11 on the mound right now, delivering his warm-up tosses to catcher Luke Senator. Going around the infield defense and the outfield defense for the Bridgemen, Luke Senator behind the plate. At third base is Luke Kim. At shortstop, you see him on your screen right now, number 17, Chris Kim. And then Stefan Kim at second base, and Spencer Plout at first base. He's going to be getting DH'd for. And then in the outfield, it is Gabe Lasval in left, CJ Senator, the brother of Luke, in center, and Nico Sango in right field. Warm-up tosses just about done for Jacob Greenberg. He gets the ball from his third baseman, Luke Kim, and we're just about set to be underway. Obviously, with the Mahwah Thunderbirds on the road, they will be batting first, and they will be leading off Hawken. Ryan Hawken leading off and playing center field for the Mahwah Thunderbirds. And taking a strike, we're underway with the 2025-26 season for the Fort Lee Bridgeman baseball team. Greenberg's 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed, 0-2. Ryan Hawken, number 16, the leadoff batter and center fielder, swinging and missing at the off-speed pitch. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. A strikeout to begin the year for Jacob Greenberg. So they throw around now, and that will bring up number 1, Jack Newman. Jack Newman, a left-handed batter. So this is the pitcher facing the opposite pitcher, and he takes a ball high. Good off-speed pitch there from Greenberg. Levels the count at 1-1 on Newman. This one is lofted in the air to center. CJ Senator will settle under it and make the grab, 2 away. That will bring up the number 3 hitter and the third baseman for the Mahwah Thunderbirds. That is Nicholas Marezzo, number 24. Another right-handed batter, and he takes a pitch low. Last year, Greenberg had a 2.27 ERA for the Bridgemen. That is on a 7-inning scale as opposed to 9 innings because high school baseball games only go 7. 49 into third innings for Greenberg. He struck out 45 batters. Here he deals outside, so it is a 2-1 count on Marezzo. That one actually gets by Luke Senator, so a 3-1 count on Nicholas Marezzo, the number 3 hitter and third baseman. On deck, the cleanup hitter and first baseman, Tyler Tolan. Greenberg's 3-1. Pours a strike in there, so the count goes full. 3-2 with 2 outs. And nobody on here in the top of the first. Lined into left field for a base hit. Unable to get to that one was Chris Kim, handled by Lasval. First hit of the day belongs to Nicholas Marezzo. Of the day, not of the season. This is Fort Lee's opening day. Not the case for the Thunderbirds. They started their regular season yesterday with a 6-5 loss to Paramus Catholic. So they are 0-1 on the year. Greenberg deals a strike to Tyler Tolan, the cleanup hitter, back to a left-handed batter. Greenberg takes a peek at the runner on first. He's not going anywhere, and that pitch is just a bit outside, 1-1. So the Thunderbirds 0-1 on the year in Keith Normoyle's first year as head coach. This one is drilled to right field, and it is gone. A 2-out, 2-run home run for Tyler Tolan. Mahwah with the 2-out rally there on the board. First home run of the year allowed by Jacob Greenberg. He was cruising along, and then a 2-out single by Marezzo gets someone on the bases for Tyler Tolan. And that was pretty much a no-doubter. Nico Sango chased after it a little bit, but realistically, that one was gone off the bat, as this pitch is outside to Dylan Moskowitz, the number 5 hitter. Continuing the righty-lefty theme. Moskowitz sends this one into right field, and that's going to dunk in for a base hit. Sango will handle it on a hop. This is a turf field, so the ball can hop up and take some really high bounces. Sango stuck with that one to keep it to a single, but that is 3 straight hits for the Thunderbirds. And that'll bring up Robert Gorley, so there were 2 outs. He probably had some of his catching gear on. He'll take the shin guards off and step up to the plate, and he is a right-handed batter, so the streak is broken there. Robert Gorley, the number 6 hitter. Last year, Greenberg gave up too many free passes, as well as he pitched, led Fort Lee pitchers, partially because of how many innings he threw, but led them in walks and hit batters. Today, no free passes, just a single and then a long 2-run home run for Tolan. Now another 2-out single, and he's dealing with Gorley. Throw over to first. Nothing doing there. Plout at first, holding on the runner. Gorley, the batter, swinging and missing, way over the top of that one. Runner still not going. This one is kind of popped in the air to center. CJ Senator with a second put out of the inning, and that will send us to the bottom of the first. 2-run home run by Tyler Tolan gets Mahwah on the board. Fort Lee will look to respond as they bat for the first time this year momentarily. You see the left-hander Jack Newman warming up right now. A pitcher wearing a single-digit number, becoming a little bit more popular around the game at all levels lately. So number 1, Jack Newman on the mound. He is 0 for 1 in the batter's box, getting the start today opposite Jacob Greenberg. He is pitching to Robert Gorley, who made the final out of the top of the first inning. Gorley catching. Looking at the infield defense for the Thunderbirds, it is Nicholas Marezzo at third, Thomas Antonelli at short, Dylan Moskowitz at second, and the home run hitter, Tyler Tolan, at first base. Then it's Owen Fitzgerald in left field, Ryan Hawken in center field, and Ian Wilczynski in right for the Thunderbirds. Leading off for the Bridgemen is going to be second baseman Stefan Kim. He was Pete Kraljic's leadoff hitter last year, and what a season it was for Stefan Kim. A .383 batting average on the year, 0 home runs, but 19 runs batted in. 29 runs scored last year in only 26 team games. So here is Stefan Kim. Nico Sango is on deck for Fort Lee. There's a called strike at the knees. Good take by Greenberg. It's now a 3-1 count. Newman deals. Lined into center. Base hit. Tie game. And they're going to hold C.J. Senator up at third. Game-tying RBI single for Jacob Greenberg. It's 2-2 in the bottom of the first. Apologies for any technical failings we might have had. We should be good to go now, as that pitch is swung on and missed by Nico Sango. It's 2-2. Runners on the corners and 1 out for Fort Lee. Newman dealing to Sango here. Runner going from first. They throw to third. That will be a stolen base for Greenberg. So now 2 runners in scoring position for Sango. Pops it foul. 1-2 the count from Newman to Sango. Leadoff ground rule double for Stefan Kim. Luke Senator walked and then was erased on a fielder's choice, banged into by Chris Kim. That put runners on the corners. C.J. Senator, a deep fly to center. Let's call it an E8 and an RBI. Jacob Greenberg with a game-tying single, and now Sango takes inside. I don't know how that didn't hit him, but it's a 2-2 count now. Stolen base for Greenberg, so that's why it's second and third with 1 out. Newman deals. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Newman. Sango is gone, and we'll now have runners on second and third with 2 outs, and it'll be up to Gabriel Lasval to give Fort Lee the lead. We're also now going to see Pete Kraljic pinch run for Greenberg. Pitchers often getting pinch run for, along with catchers. Greenberg sometimes playing the outfield for Fort Lee. He's pitching today, at least to start, so he'll head to the bench and rest a little bit as that pitch to the left-handed hitting Lasval is low. 1-0 the count. One the count. That's number 16, pinch running for Jacob Greenberg. That's James Aino, who also sometimes pitches, but is not pitching today. The 1-1 to Lasval. Low, good block by Robert Gorley behind the plate. Plenty of speed On the bases, obviously, if a ball gets by Gorley, CJ Senator could dash home, and that could give Fort Lee the lead. Newman deals right down the pipe. Count levels at 2-2. And Newman deals. Might have been an off-speed pitch. Gets it by Lasval. So he does strike out the final two batters. We go to the second inning, tied 2-2 here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Want to give a special shout out to our proud Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics sponsors that you see on your screen right now. We'll be back for the second inning in a moment. Tommy Aquilina back with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex. That was an eventful first inning. We head to the top of the second inning. Jacob Greenberg still out there for Fort Lee. His first pitch is just outside. 1-0 the count. Now 2-0 the count, pitching not to the right fielder, but the guy DHing for him. That's number 13, Jack Zerbuck. And the count goes to 3-0. Zerbuck hitting for Ian Wilczynski, the right fielder. Greenberg's 3-0 is low. Not how he wanted to start off this top of the second inning after his offense, which does include himself, got back that 2-run deficit. Mentioned a lot of free passes last year from Greenberg. And now he will be pitching to Owen Fitzgerald, the number 8 hitter and left fielder. And that's 5 straight pitches out of the zone to start the second. Make it 6 straight as that one is over Fitzgerald's head. And now we're going to see a meeting on the mound here. Zerbuck, who walked Fitzgerald, and then Thomas Antonelli, 7-8-9, here in the top of the second inning for the Thunderbirds. Last year, Greenberg led Fort Lee pitchers, or tied for the team lead, in walks and hit batters, but also strikeouts and innings pitched. And his 2-0 pitch is a called strike. No bunt, no runner going anywhere, just a strike, and it's a 2-1 count. Two-1 to Fitzgerald. Low and away. Luke Senator handles it. It's now a 3-1 count with the number 9 hitter on deck. Greenberg's going to take an extra moment here. And the 3-1 pitch. That's in there. And the count goes full. My guess is that Mahwah is not going to push the envelope here and send Zerbuck. They're not sending him. Swing and a miss. Good idea not to send him, as Fitzgerald strikes out. Second strikeout of the game for Greenberg, and that'll bring up Antonelli, the number 9 batter. Grounded to short. That's 1. And they couldn't turn 2. So 2 away and a runner on first, as that is a really 6-4 fielder's choice. That'll erase Zerbuck. Antonelli will be the runner on first with 2 gone, and Hawken, for the second time in 2 innings, will be the batter. Ryan Hawken grounds this to short. Diving stop by Kim. Throws to first. Not in time. Hawken beats it by a step. That'll be an infield single. Really good attempt there by Chris Kim. And he was going to cover the bag because the runner was going. So no stolen base there. It'll just be an infield single for Hawken. Runners on first and second with 2 out. And the batter will be the pitcher, Newman. Newman flying out to center his first time up. Now hitting with 2 out and 2 on. In on the hands, and that's a foul ball. Good pitch there by Greenberg. Anytime you can knock a batter down, that's a good thing. And he's the opposing pitcher, too. Fort Lee, with a little good gamesmanship, you will see a little meeting on the mound here as they check on Newman. The left-handed pitcher and batter appears no worse for wear. And he'll step back into the batter's box. 0-1 the count. 2 gone and 2 on. This time they go outside. I would have gone with another inside pitch. They go outside. It's ball 1. One on Newman. Outside again. 2-1. Greenberg deals the 2-1 and a third straight pitch that goes too far outside. Marezzo, whose 2-out single got the 2-out rally started last inning, awaits on deck. Greenberg's 3-1 is ball 4. So that will bring up Nicholas Marezzo with the bases loaded and 2 out. Marezzo 1 for 1 with a run scored. And of course, the home run hitter Tyler Tolan is on deck. Greenberg deals a strike. The 0-1 pitch. Called strike 2 at the knees. What does Greenberg want to do here? Tries to expand the zone. It doesn't work, and it's a 1-2 count. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Huge strikeout for Greenberg with the bases loaded. We remain tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the second inning here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Fort Lee and Mahwah tied at 2 after 1.5. This is not first baseman Spencer Plout. He is being DH'd for by AJ Papavasulo. The Fort Lee DH takes high and in, ball 1. Papavasulo starting the season on varsity. A 0 batting average with 0 runs batted in and 1 run scored at the varsity level last year. This year, he's the opening day DH. He lines this one into center, and it's over Hawkins' head. Hawkins is having all kinds of problems out there today in center. That's going to be an RBI double as it hops over the fence. That one I would definitely say is a double, as Hawkins was unable to even get a glove on that one. Runner in scoring position right away for the Bridgman. Papavasulo on second, Luke Kim in the batter's box, the third baseman and number 9 hitter for Pete Kraljic today on opening day. Sometimes when the ball is hit right at you, that's the hardest one to handle as an outfielder, and that wound up going just over the head of Hawkins for a double. It'll bring up Luke Kim, Papavasulo, Luke Kim, and then Stephen Kim here in the bottom of the second for the Bridgman. That is a strike on Luke Kim. Opening day third baseman for the Bridgman. Number 20, Luke Kim, went around. So it's 0-2 on the Bridgman third baseman. Newman's 0-2. Called strike 3. That's a backwards K, third strikeout of the day for Newman, and we will go back to the top of the Bridgman lineup. It'll be Stephen Kim, and then, unless he hits into a wacky double play here, Luke Senator will be up next. With Papavasulo leading off second. Low and outside to Stephen Kim. He doubled and scored last inning. The 1-0. 1-1. Stephen Kim hitting .383 last year with a .481 slugging percentage. He had 6 doubles last year for the Bridgman. 1 so far today, and a 1-1 count as he's batting here for the second time in the second offensive inning of the season for Fort Lee. Lined on a hop to short, that'll get by the shortstop. It's a base hit. Papavasulo is rounding third, and he will score. RBI single for Stephen Kim, and for the first time this year, the Bridgmen have the lead. It's 3-2 in the bottom of the second. Fort Lee. Stephen Kim on first, only 1 away for Luke Senator. And the elder Senator brother will take a called strike. Luke and CJ both playing on the Fort Lee football team. Now both playing on the Fort Lee baseball team, and they both had quite good seasons last year for the Bridgmen. Luke Senator walked his first time up. Lifts this one out to left. Pretty deep left. Is that a home run or a double? They're going to say it's a double. The fence only extends so far, and then you get to the fence that keeps people off of the football or soccer field. They're going to call this one a double. I'd have to agree with that call. So it's an RBI double. It really should not be an RBI because the runner wasn't in scoring position. Yeah, so they're going to send Stephen Kim back to third. I think that's what they're going to call. I think it's going to be a double, runners on second and third, and it'll still be a 3-2 game. Ball just kept carrying and carrying and carrying on left fielder Owen Fitzgerald. So Stephen Kim is now 2 for 2 with a double and an RBI. Luke Senator now 1 for 1 with a double. Meeting on the mound for Mahwah, second and third with 1 out, and the number 3 hitter, Chris Kim, up for Fort Lee. So it is runners on second and third with 1 out. Fort Lee already up by 1. The runners will stay put as that pitch gets by Robert Gorley. Chris Kim, 0 for 1 with a run scored because he hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. Here he's got 2 runners in scoring position. The Mahwah defense has been brought in, the infield defense that is, although honestly the outfielders are playing pretty shallow themselves. 2-0 the count on Chris Kim, one of Pete Kraljich's best RBI men from last year. That's low. It's a called strike. Right at the knees. 2-1 the count on Chris Kim. Newman will step off. And Newman's 2-1 pitch. 3-1. First base is open, but the dangerous CJ Senator waits on deck. Sun starting to shine a little bit more brightly here around the 5 o'clock hour at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Tapped, foul, and we have a full count. Looks like another pitcher is going to start warming up for Mahwah. For now, though, this is Newman's struggle to get out of. 3-2, 1 out, 2 on. Another foul ball. Mahwah led 2-0. Fort Lee has responded with 3 unanswered runs since then, looking to expand upon this 1-run lead. Swing and a miss. What a pitch by Newman. Chris Kim is gone, but Newman is not out of the woods yet. He's got CJ Senator. That deep fly ball to center field his last time up. Let's say he's 0 for 1 with an RBI. With 2 outs, the infield defense backs up for Mahwah. Newman deals. Called strike on Senator. Newman likes the idea of the second pitch offering, but it's low. 1-1 the count. The opposing pitcher, Greenberg, is on deck. Newman's 1-1. Tapped to short. The third baseman steps in front of it, and Nicholas Marezzo throws out Senator. Good job by Newman to get out of a jam there, limit the damage. Fort Lee does have the lead after 2 innings, though. It is Fort Lee 3, Mahwah 2 after 2 innings. Want to once again mention our proud Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics sponsors. You see them on your screen right now. Don't go anywhere. The 3rd inning is coming up here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. We're back for the 3rd inning here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Jacob Greenberg out for a 3rd inning of work, and he deals a ball to Tyler Tolan. His 2-run homer in the 1st inning gave Mahwah the early lead, but since then, Fort Lee has scored 3 unanswered. 2-0 the count here on Tolan. Tolan, Moskowitz, and Gorley for the Thunderbirds here in the top of the 3rd. Called strike on the inside part of the plate. Tolan didn't agree with that one. Sends this one the opposite way into left. It is stayed with and caught by Lasval. Nice play by the Fort Lee left fielder. Sun starting to be a factor. Mentioned it's difficult when the ball is hit right at you. Ball kind of knuckled on him at the end, but Lasval hung with it. Went down to his knees, but caught the ball. 1 away. Score that F7. Tolan is 1 for 2, and here's Moskowitz. Knee buckling pitch there from Greenberg. It's an 0-1 count on Moskowitz. He singled after Tolan's homer in the 1st, and then stayed at first as Gorley flied out to center. Now it's a 1-1 count on Moskowitz. And now it's an 0-2 count. Or a 1-2 count, I should say. And Greenberg deals. Bounces that one up there. 2-2 the count. On the Mahwah second baseman. Swing and a miss. Way out in front of that one. Moskowitz is gone. 4th strikeout of the afternoon for Jacob Greenberg. Gets a little glove fist bump from his third baseman, and now he'll be dealing with Gorley. 0 for 1 as Greenberg looks for his first 1-2-3 inning of the season. Wow. Oh, won the count. The Mahwah hitters are really having a tough time picking up these off-speed offerings from Greenberg. That pitch is not called a strike, so it's a 1-1 count on Gorley, the Mahwah catcher. Over his head. Nice bit of athleticism there from Luke Senator. And it's a 2-1 count on the Mahwah backstop. Swing and a miss, way out in front of that off-speed pitch. Count levels at 2-2. Swing and a miss again. Back-to-back strikeouts from Greenberg. He now has 5, and after 2.5 innings, Fort Lee leads Mahwah 3-2. Let's see if they can expand upon that lead in the bottom of the third. Jacob Greenberg has settled down on the mound since giving up that home run. Trailed 2-0, now leads 3-2, and leading off here in the bottom of the third inning, he takes a strike from his pitching counterpart, Newman. Greenberg with an RBI single his first time up, then stole a base. Greenberg hit .294 last year with 1 home run and 2 triples for the Bridgemen. A multi-threat player can hurt you on the bases, in the batter's box. Obviously, one of the aces of the pitching staff, if not just the ace. And he takes low here, so it's a 1-2 count on Greenberg. It'll be Greenberg, Sango, and Lasval for the Bridgemen here in the bottom of the third. Last year, Greenberg 1 home run, 23 runs batted in. Taps this one right back to Newman. Score that 1-3 as Greenberg is retired. That'll bring up Nico Sango. A first baseman and corner outfielder for the Bridgemen last year. Hit .247, 0 home runs, and 9 runs batted in on the season. 15 runs scored last year for Sango, who takes a ball. 1-0. Sango, the opening day right fielder today. And that one is behind him. No, it hit him. Not exactly how you want to get on base for the first time on the season, but Sango will get that on base percentage up right now to 500. A strikeout in the first, a hit by pitch here in the third. He got hit by a pitch quite a bit last year. 7 times, according to NJ.com. That's a lot for a high school season. He's plunked again here, and that'll bring up the left-handed hitting Gabe Lasval. Sends this one into right, deep right, off the fence in right. Sango rounding second, Lasval stopping at second. It's a double for Gabe Lasval, and the Bridgemen have runners on second and third with one away. Last year, Gabe Lasval hit .273 for the Bridgemen. 0 home runs, 4 runs batted in. He had 1 double, and now he's got a double here on opening day. Infield comes in for Mahwah. Pitch is swung on and missed by A.J. Papavasilio. Oh, 1 pitch is low. Gets away from Gorley, but not far enough away for Sango to go anywhere. Sango leading off third. Lasval leading off second. Newman deals. Ball 2. Newman's 2-1. Drops a curveball in there for strike 2. And the 2-2 pitch. Tapped to third. They go home. And they get the out. Nice play there by Nicholas Marezzo. Score that 5-2. Papavasiliou will reach on the fielder's choice. Lasval also advances, so it's going to be first and third with 2 outs now. That'll bring up the number 9 batter for the Bridgemen, Luke Kim. A strikeout victim in the second. Hitting here in the bottom of the third, with runners on the corners and 2 out. A little bit of a delayed steal there. And I think that will be a stolen base for Papavasiliou. So second and third with 2 out. Fouled off by Luke Kim. So Lasval 1 for 2 with a double. Papavasiliou 1 for 2 with a double, a steal, 1 run scored so far, and now a 2 RBI opportunity for Luke Kim. He's down in the count 0-1. Newman deals just a bit outside. 1-1 the count on Luke Kim. And then the dangerous top of the Fort Lee order coming up. Tapped, back to Newman. His throw pulls his first baseman off the bag. And everyone's safe. Honestly, that might just be an E1 on Newman. It allows a run to score. That's Lasval. And once again, we're going to have runners on the corners with 2 out for the Bridgemen. If that is an error, no RBI for Luke Kim, because that would have been the 3rd out of the inning. Instead, one run has scored, and Newman is not out of the woods. He's got to deal with Stefan Kim now. 2 for 2 with a double, an RBI, and a run scored already. Hitting for a third time this year in the third inning. And the end result of that is going to be a stolen base for Luke Kim. This one is tapped weakly to third. Marezzo gets the out, score that 5-3. And so ultimately, could have been a lot worse for Mahwah. Fort Lee leads this one 4-2 after 3. Back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex, I'm Tommy Aquilina. We're in the top of the fourth inning. The Bridgemen lead the Thunderbirds 4-2. That one is tapped foul by Zerbuck. It's 7-8-9 for Mahwah. Zerbuck, Fitzgerald, Antonelli. Greenberg deals outside. He's now struck out 5 in 3 innings of work. 2 runs allowed, but none in the second or third. That's a called strike, and it's a 1-2 count on Zerbuck. He walked back in the first. That one's a little bit too far inside. Count levels at 2-2. Greenberg working quickly, deals a little bit low. Zerbuck doesn't bite, and it's a full count. Grounded to short. And the 6-3 play is completed. Chris Kim to Spencer Plout, 1 away. That'll bring up Owen Fitzgerald. A strikeout victim back in the first inning. Batting here with nobody on and 1 out in the fourth. He'll take low. He'll check his swing, and it's a 1-0 count. Called strike on the inside corner. It's 1-1. Greenberg getting himself in line for the win if he gets through this inning, leading after 4 in a 7-inning affair. This one is lined over Luke Kim's head, and I guess really in between Luke and Chris Kim, into left field. It's a base hit for Owen Fitzgerald. And that'll bring up Thomas Antonelli with 1 on and 1 out. And then we'll go back to the top of the Thunderbird order. Runner going, pitch low, Senator, not in time. Stolen base for Owen Fitzgerald. Runner in scoring position for Mahwah, and even though Greenberg has largely settled in, this is still just a 2-run game, so that run out on second base is a big one. Now an RBI opportunity for Antonelli. 0 for 1 so far today. Grounded, in between short and third again. Lasval gets it into Chris Kim, or rather that was Luke Kim at third, and it's going to be runners on the corners with 1 away. For the top of the Thunderbird order, which right now will be Hawken. 0 for 1 with a strikeout, or rather 1 for 2 with a strikeout so far today. Hawken has had problems defensively in center. He can make up for some of that by reaching here. Runner at first is going. They throw through, and they got him. Luke Senator guns down Antonelli. Fitzgerald doesn't go anywhere, so it's now just a runner on third with 2 outs. Gutsy call there by Antonelli. Probably thought he definitely had it. But Luke Senator throwing through, getting the caught stealing. Handles that pitch outside. I believe it's a 2-0 count on Hawken. Lined over Chris Kim's head into left field. That's a huge 2-out RBI single for Hawken. And that'll make it 4-3. So Hawken 2 for 3 with an RBI today. Runner on first with 2 away. As the Antonelli caught stealing is now a little bit more costly for the Thunderbirds. They have cut the deficit from 2-1, though. This is Newman trying to help himself out. In the box, he's 0 for 1 with a walk today. Called strike on the inside corner. That'll make it a 2-1 count on Newman. Greenberg deals, grounded, foul down the first baseline. 2-2 count, 2 outs, runner on first, Fort Lee holding on to a 1-run lead. Greenberg is ready to go here. Foul ball. We'll do the 2-2 pitch again. Lined over Chris Kim's head. Really, that was over third base, so over Luke Kim's head. Lasval gets it in. That's a 2-out single for Newman. First and second now with 2 away. That'll bring up Nicholas Marezzo. 1 for 2 with a run scored today. The game-tying run is on second base. The potential go-ahead run is on first. Greenberg's first pitch to Marezzo is ball one. Big swing and a miss over the off-speed pitch. 1-1 the count. Middle infielders have pinched in for Fort Lee. It'll be a 1-1 pitch to Marezzo. Takes a ball. Nice play there by Luke Senator to keep the runners where they are. Also obviously put the team on notice earlier this inning by throwing out Antonelli. 2-1 the count to Marezzo with the dangerous Tolan on deck. That is inside, and it'll be a 3-1 count on the three-hitter and third baseman for Mahwah. Like Fort Lee, looking for their first win of the season. Big swing and a miss on a 3-1 pitch. The count will go full. The runners will get a running start, 3-2 with 2 outs. Huge pitch here for Greenberg. Ball 4 high. Tolan, who's already homered so far today, will bat with the bases loaded and 2 out in a 1-run game. Will it be against Greenberg? Looks like it will be, but we're going to have a meeting on the mound. That'll be the end of the meeting. Now it's up to Greenberg and his fielders, I guess. Bases loaded, 2 out. Fort Lee maintaining a 1-run lead here in the top of the 4th. Tolan is 1 for 2 with a home run and 2 RBI today. Greenberg deals. Called strike on the outside corner. Tolan doesn't like the call. Huge to get out in front here, though, in this at-bat. That one had plenty of plate. 0-2 on Tolan. Nowhere to put him, so you don't want to play around too much if you're Greenberg, but you can do anything you want here. Tries to expand. That one a little bit too far outside. Good discipline there by Tolan not to chase. Now we have time. 1-2 the count. On the Mahwah first baseman. Swing and a miss! Greenberg blows it by him and gets out of the bases loaded jam. Fort Lee holds on to their 1-run lead. We're halfway through at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Fort Lee 4, Mahwah 3. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 4th inning. We're live for the bottom of the fourth inning here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Newman still out there for Mahwah, dealing ball one to Luke Senator. Huge caught stealing last inning by the Fort Lee catcher, and then arguably probably an even bigger strikeout by Jacob Greenberg. That's a called strike on the Fort Lee catcher, so it's a 1-1 count. Luke Senator is 1 for 1 with a double and a walk. Takes low there. If you're just tuning in, Jacob Greenberg has gone 4 innings. He has struck out 6 Mahwah Thunderbirds. Gave up a 2-run homer in the first inning when our Wi-Fi was a little spotty, still figuring itself out. That home run was hit by Tyler Tolan. But Fort Lee came back with 2 runs in the bottom of the inning. They wound up taking the lead. And then Tolan striking out with the bases loaded and 2 out last inning. Huge out for Greenberg. He's in line for the win. And that pitch is ball 4. And for the second time today, Luke Senator has himself a base on balls. He'll head to first. And the Fort Lee number 3 batter, Chris Kim, will step to the dish looking for his first hit of the season. He is 0 for 2, but he reached on a fielder's choice, and he scored the second of those 2 runs for Fort Lee in the first inning. And now he takes upstairs from Newman. Newman has only walked 2 batters. It's been Luke Senator both times. Senator is going. That pitch is low. Luke Senator does it all. Beats you with his legs, doesn't allow you to do the same. That's a stolen base for the Fort Lee catcher. And it's a 2-0 count on Chris Kim. Grounds it foul down the third baseline. There is action down in what we'll call the bullpen for Fort Lee. Greenberg is through 4. In a 7-inning high school game, that puts him in line for the win. He's also in the hole right now. Luke Senator, Chris Kim, and then CJ Senator. And with Luke reaching, Greenberg should bat this inning. Runner in scoring position for Chris Kim, one of Fort Lee's leading RBI men last year. Can't do anything with a pitch like that. 3-1 the count on Chris Kim. This one is popped up. Kind of in no man's land. Hawkins settles under it. He makes the play. Tagging is Luke Senator. Wasn't that deep, but Luke Senator tagging and advancing to third. Great base running by the Fort Lee catcher. Productive out for Chris Kim. And now with his older brother on third, that'll bring up CJ Senator. Right now, I'm calling him 0 for 2. Again, he hit that fly ball to center that was struck hard in and out of Hawkins' glove. We'll say he's 0 for 2 for now with an RBI. Chance for another one right now. That pitch is high. It's also just a 1-run game, so this is a big spot in this one for both teams. The 1-0 pitch to CJ. Swing and a miss. They throw to third. They kind of got Luke Senator. That throw was not handled by Gorley, and so Luke Senator gets bailed out. He's able to scamper back to third safely. They had him and then they didn't have him. Not really able to get him in a pickle there. So still a runner on third with 1 away. It's a 1-1 count on CJ Senator. Greenberg awaits on deck. Newman deals. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Devastating pitch, absolutely tying up C.J. Senator there. So 2 gone on the strikeout. But now Newman will have to deal with his counterpart on the mound, Jacob Greenberg. Greenberg is 1 for 2 with an RBI and a steal so far today. He can help himself out even more here in the bottom of the 4th. Takes a called strike. It'll be an 0-1 pitch from Newman. That's outside. The 1-1. 1-2. Newman's a pitch from getting out of it. Two runs in the first, 1 run in the second, 1 run in the third for Fort Lee. Looking to expand their lead here in the 4th. That one gets by Gorley. Not far enough for Luke Senator to go anywhere. He'll remain at third. It's now a 2-2 count with 2 away on Greenberg. The left-hander deals. Tapped to short. Greenberg beats it out. RBI infield single for Jacob Greenberg. Fort Lee leads by 2. "5-3 Bridgman here in the bottom of the 4th. This will not, in fact, be the first inning on the year that Fort Lee fails to score. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 here in the 4th. Now it's Nico Sango, 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch, taking high. "1-0 the count on the Fort Lee right fielder. Going a little early. They got him. Little early, Jacob Greenberg left. He ends up getting, really not picked off, really caught stealing. Score that play 1-4, I believe. Greenberg is gone. We are through 4 innings. Fort Lee leads Mahwah 5-3. Don't go anywhere. We are back at the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex, and we have a new pitcher. Pete Kraljic making his first pitching change of the year. It's number 16, Another right-hander for the Bridgmen. That's James Aino on the mound after Jacob Greenberg goes 4. Aino will be dealing with Moskowitz, Gorley, and Zerbuck. Trying to hold on to a 2-run lead are the Bridgmen here for the final 3 innings, as that pitch is low to Moskowitz. He went 1 for 2 with a strikeout against Greenberg. Fouls this one away against Aino. It's a 1-1 count. Greenberg gave up 3 runs in 4 innings. They were all earned. He struck out 6. None bigger than the Tyler Tolan strikeout with the bases loaded and 2 gone last inning. That was when Fort Lee was up by 1. They've expanded the lead to 2. Now it'll be up to the Fort Lee bullpen. Aino's behind in the count here, 2-1. And now the count levels off at 2-2. Aino deals. High and away. It'll be a full count to Moskowitz. Low ball 4. Didn't miss by much, but Aino does miss, and that will bring the tying run to the plate in the form of Robert Gorley. And he's getting pinch hit for, it looks like. No, check that. This is Gorley. Aino deals a strike. The Mahwah catcher, 0 for 2 with a strikeout, making the final out of the first inning and the third inning. Taking low here, and now he's going to get a 1-1 pitch here in the 5th. 1 on and no one out for Mahwah. Runner not going. Aino deals low. Last year, Aino pitched an inning and a third for the Bridgmen at the varsity level. That was as a freshman. Deals a ball high here, as now here he is as a sophomore, the first man out of the bullpen on opening day for Pete Kraljic. Trying to hold on to this 2-run lead, but it's a 3-1 count on Gorley. And that's ball 4. Back-to-back walks, not at all what you want to see from your first man out of the bullpen. That'll bring up Zerbuck, DHing for Wilchinski. Zerbuck is 0 for 1 with a walk. And a meeting on the mound between Luke Senator and his pitcher. You're watching the Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics stream here on YouTube, now streaming in HD. We are in 1080p on our end here, and you see now the proud Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics sponsors on your screen. Want to thank them so much for sponsoring these videos. Want to thank you for tuning in on a Tuesday today. It is the last day of March already, which means the spring season is either just around the corner or just underway for the Fort Lee Bridgman baseball team. Just underway. This is Mahwah's second game of the year. They opened their season yesterday against Paramus Catholic. They lost against a private school, now in their first public school v. public school matchup of the year. Everyone is set to go now. Aino will be dealing to Zerbuk. 2 on and nobody out here in the top of the 5th. That is a called strike. The sophomore Aino set to deal the 0-1. 1-1. Outside, Senator goes to second to get the runner, and he got him. Moskowitz strayed way too far from the bag, and it costs him. Luke Senator almost single-handedly changing the outlook of this game with his right arm. So now it's just 1 man on with 1 out. And Zerbuk fouls that one away. 2-2 the count. Runner on first. 1 gone. Luke Senator throwing out a runner attempting to steal, picking off a runner at second base. And now Aino looking for a big second out. This one is lined over Chris Kim's head. So how big is that pickoff by Luke Senator? We could have the bases loaded and nobody out. Instead, we have runners on first and second with 1 out. That'll bring up Owen Fitzgerald. 1 for 2 with a stolen base and a run scored. Fitzgerald, the number 8 batter for Mahwah. Aino's first offering is tapped foul. The 0-1 pitch. That's high. Luke Senator tried to bring it down. The umpire wasn't fooled. 1-1 the count. Runners on first and second with 1 away here in the top of the 5th. Mahwah trails by 2. Tapped past Aino. Nice play by Chris Kim. Steps on the bag as he fields it and to first for the out. Great double play by Chris Kim. 6-3. We're through 4.5. Fort Lee leading by 2. Bottom of the fifth inning about to be underway here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Tommy Aquilina here with you as the Fort Lee Bridgemen. The past couple innings, they've bent, but they have not broken on defense, and they lead Mahwah 5-3 heading into the bottom of the fifth. Jack Newman started. Like Jacob Greenberg, he went 4 innings. Now it's number 7 on the mound as Dylan Moskowitz goes from second base to the mound. Moskowitz will be dealing with 6, 7, 8 in the Bridgman lineup. Beginning with Nico Sango. Not yet, though. When they got Greenberg on the bases, Sango was batting. That's why he's still hitting here. So it's going to be Sango, Lasval, and Papavasiliou. Sango, a strikeout victim his first time up. And then he was hit by a pitch his last time up. Might be an issue here with the mound. Newman went 4. He gave up 5 runs. He was let down by his defense a little bit. I don't believe all 5 of those runs were earned. In the first inning, the center fielder Ryan Hawken had all kinds of problems defensively. Based on what I have, it was Stefan Kim with a leadoff double, then a walk for Luke Senator. Chris Kim hit into a fielder's choice, and then CJ Senator hit a bullet to center field. It went in and out of the glove of Hawken. So I scored that an E8. I did give him an RBI because there was a runner on third who probably would have scored had it just been a standard sac fly. And then Jacob Greenberg with an RBI single. So Stefan Kim and Chris Kim both scored in the first. Then Nico Sango and Gabriel Lasval both struck out. And so the damage was limited there by Newman. And that was kind of what it was all day for him. Limiting the damage. Gives up 5 runs in 4 innings. Keeps Mahwah in this one. Now Fort Lee looking to expand upon that 2-run lead. We are, in fact, set to go. And Moskowitz deals very low to Nico Sango. The 1-0 pitch is grounded past the diving third baseman. Antonelli gets a glove on it, so technically that's an infield single for Nico Sango. He's 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch. Gabriel Lasval did strike out to end that first inning, but he's 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored. And the left-handed batter will step into the batter's box here with 1 on and nobody out. Moskowitz deals quite high, 1-0. Wind starting to pick up a little bit here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Still a very nice day out. If anything, it's gotten a little bit nicer as the temperature has gone down a little bit. Lasval shows bunt. Diving play is made by Moskowitz. Oh, wow. Started the game at second base. Fields his pitching position brilliantly there. Also, obviously, not a good bunt by Lasval. He's retired. Score that F1, and there is 1 away with a runner on first. Papavasiliou, 1 for 2 with a double, a stolen base, and a run scored. The Fort Lee DH and number 8 hitter will now get a chance here with 1 on and 1 out. And he fouls the first pitch off. Moskowitz checks on Sango at first and deals. Ball 1. Now for the 1-1 pitch. High, ball 2. Moskowitz, the right-handed pitcher, after a lefty started in Newman. His 2-1 is squibbed the other way. Sango jumps to stay out of the way. They retire Papa Vasiliou. Score that 4-3. Sango will advance to second. 2 out. Runner on second for Luke Kim, the third baseman and number 9 batter. And he's going to get pinch hit for. This is number 3, Jack Dorcom, not in the starting lineup today. Pinch hitting for Pete Kraljic here in a big spot. Runner on second, 2 outs, and Dorcom will stroll to the plate with no batting gloves. Love the throwback look. RBI opportunity off the bench for Dorcom. And you really kind of have to pitch to him because the top of the order is coming up. Moskowitz checking on Sango at second and dealing. Strike 1 to Dorcom. Moskowitz is 0-1. That's low, 1-1. Dorcom hit .293 for Fort Lee last year. 1 home run and 16 runs batted in. The 1-1 pitch. Lined the other way. Foul. Would have given Fort Lee a 6-3 lead. Instead, Moskowitz is a pitch away from getting through the 5th inning unscathed. The Thunderbirds have 6 outs to work with as they look to erase what is currently a 2-run deficit. The righty deals. Outside, gets away from Gorley, but Sango will stay at second. 2-2 the count. 2 outs. Runner on second. 2-run Fort Lee lead. And again, this is Dorcom pinch hitting for Luke Kim. Reached on an error by Newman, his second time up, then stole a base, so Kim is 0 for 1, 0 for 2 rather, with a steal. Dorcom with his first plate appearance of the year. And he takes called strike 3 on the inside corner. Big pitch from Moskowitz. And it remains a 2-run Fort Lee advantage. We will go to the top of the 6th inning. Again, the Thunderbirds have 6 outs to work with. Tommy Aquilina back here with you as we head to the 6th inning here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. James Aino is still out there, and he deals a strike. 0-1 the count on Thomas Antonelli, the number 9 hitter for the Thunderbirds. Now it's an 0-2 count. Antonelli, Hawken, and Newman for Mahwah. 9-1-2 in the lineup. The Thunderbirds trail by 2. Aino trying to keep it that way. This is ball 1. Aino was ready to walk around the mound. Luke Senator was ready to throw it around. It was called a ball by the home plate umpire. Now it's a 1-2 pitch. That's definitely not a strike. And it'll be a 2-2 count. Antonelli is 1 for 2, but he was caught stealing by Luke Senator. And from 0-2, he's eyeballed his way to a 3-2 count. You certainly want to keep the leadoff batter off base if you're a pitcher, especially if it's the number 9 batter, before you deal with the top of the lineup. This one is tapped to short. Chris Kim. Got him. One away, and that'll bring up Hawken. A 6-3 double play for Chris Kim to end the 5th inning. A 6-3 play in the 6th inning. And there's now 1 out in the top of the 6th. Hawken, 2 for 3 with an RBI. The Mahwah leadoff batter is straightened up on a ball inside by Aino. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Called strike on the outside corner. The sophomore deals the 1-1. Big swing and a miss. Might have been fouled. It was tipped foul. Either way, it's a 1-2 count. Just outside. Aino looks fantastic this inning. Even his misses are just barely misses. Home plate umpire said that one was high enough, but outside. The 2-2 pitch. Low. Full count on Hawken. Newman on deck. With 1 out. And that's ball 4. So can't say the same for his defense, but Hawken having a good day offensively. He's reached base 3 times, and that walk will knock Aino out of the game. We'll come back and see who this third Fort Lee pitcher is. Pitcher warm-ups are complete. The third pitcher of the afternoon for Pete Kraljic's squad is Luke Kim. That's why Jack Dorcom pinch hit for Luke Kim last inning. Kim was warming up. Now he's out there on the mound. Third Fort Lee pitcher after Jacob Greenberg and James Aino. It is Dorcom at the hot corner, by the way, right now. Luke Kim on the mound. He is going to deal with Newman. Newman drives it to deep center field. It's gone! Newman ties this game with a 2-run home run. First pitch thrown by Luke Kim, and we're tied at 5. Second 2-run home run of the day for a Thunderbird. This one is grounded to short. Chris Kim. And there are 2 away. That was Marezzo grounding out, 6-3. That first run will be charged to Aino. He'll end up giving up 1 run in an inning and a third of work. The second run charged to the pitcher Luke Kim, who deals outside to Tolan, who has the other home run of the day for Mahwah. Thunder clap for the Thunderbirds. Tolan's homer made it 2-0 as he takes a strike. Newman, the opposing pitcher, not going to take the loss today as he ties this one with a 2-run homer in the top of the 6th. That also means Jacob Greenberg will not get the win. Tolan has flied out to left and struck out since that home run, so he's 1 for 3. And now he's 1 for 4. He swings and misses. Huge out for Luke Kim. But it comes just a little bit too late. Newman's 2-run homer ties this thing up. It's a brand new ball game. The Bridgemen will look to retake the lead in the bottom of the 6th. So we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Fort Lee will look to retake the lead. We're tied at 5. Moskowitz is still out there. And this one is sent in the air to deep left field. Really deep left field. The over-the-shoulder grab could not be made by the Mahwah left fielder. That is going to be an RBI, a leadoff double for Stephen Kim. Second time today, also in the first inning, that he leads us off with a double. Now we have more advancement from Stefan Kim. That didn't look like it went over the fence to me, and I have a pretty good view. Them throwing it back in shouldn't change anything. If it's if it's a ground rule double, how are you going to get the ball back in but by throwing it in? I'm not sure why that would be considered a home run there. And that's probably what Mahwah is saying to the umpire. It's a ground rule double. The play is dead. Of course, the left fielder is going to throw the ball in. That's Hawken, by the way. So his rough day in the outfield continues. Let's see what the umpires decide to say here. Because right now, if things stay the same, then Stefan Kim would not go out to second base, and I guess it would be 6-5. I think that's what they're saying here. They're not having Kim come out of the dugout. So I think that's what we're going to go with. Kim is staying in the dugout. So that is a leadoff home run here in the top of the sixth, or bottom of the sixth inning, rather. Luke Senator is at the dish one way or the other. And he grounds this one weakly to short. Does he beat it out? No, he does not. Nice defensive play there by Thomas Antonelli. Score that 6-3. So, yes, it is 6-5 Fort Lee on the home run by Stefan Kim. Meanwhile, they retire Luke Senator for the first time today. So he's 1 for 2 with a double, 2 walks, a stolen base, and a run scored. It's now 6-5 Bridgman. Stefan Kim is now 3 for 4 with a double, a home run, and 2 runs. This one is hit in front of Hawken for a single by Chris Kim. That's his first hit of the year. That'll make him 1 for 4 with 1 run scored. Runner on first with 1 away and 1 run already in for Fort Lee. Now it's CJ Senator. He already has an RBI today. Moskowitz throws over to first. Got him at first. They pick off Chris Kim. All kinds of wacky things happening this inning. And there are 2 gone. I feel like if you're Pete Kraljic, you can't really complain about that one after the Chris Kim or the Stefan Kim homer early in the inning. So it's a home run for Kim, giving Fort Lee a 6-5 lead. Then it's a Luke Senator ground out. Chris Kim singles but is picked off. And so there are 2 away, nobody on, and CJ Senator is the batter. Moskowitz deals upstairs. 2 away, nobody on for CJ Senator. Greenberg is on deck. Swing and a miss by Senator. The cleanup hitter today for Fort Lee, 0 for 3 with 1 RBI. He takes low, and that should be a 3-1 count. Moskowitz deals, and that's not ball 4. He plunks CJ Senator. So a hit by pitch. CJ Senator reaches, and it will be a runner on first with 2 outs for Greenberg. He is 2 for 3 with 2 RBI and a stolen base today. Opening day starting pitcher for Fort Lee. He will get a no decision. As he fouls that one off. If Fort Lee holds on to this lead they have right now, then Luke Kim would get the win because he came on and is the pitcher right now for the Bridgemen. My guess is that he will not pitch the top of the 7th inning. For now, though, Fort Lee looking to expand upon this 1-run lead. As we've seen so far today, 1 run hasn't been enough to keep the Thunderbirds down. Another throw over to first. CJ Senator gets back. This is a called strike to Greenberg. Another throw over to first. Senator gets back again. Can Fort Lee get an insurance run here in the bottom of the 6th? That pitch is outside. Should be a 1-1 count now on Jacob Greenberg. Runner going. Pitch is swung on and missed. That's strike 3. They throw to first, and they got him. So my apologies on having the count off there. It's a strikeout. Score that 2-3, and Fort Lee will carry just a 1-run lead into the 7th inning. Don't go anywhere, folks. Let's see if Fort Lee can nail down the win on opening day. Wasting no time, we are in the top of the 7th, and that's a fly out on the first pitch. Score that F8 as Luke Kim gets Moskowitz to fly out to center. Luke Kim still out there. He deals a strike to the catcher Gorley. Gorley 0 for 2 with a walk, and then Zerbuck is on deck. Kim trying to protect a 1-run lead, and that's a foul ball. No, I think he missed it. Either way, it's a strike, and an 0-2 count on Gorley. That's inside. Luke Kim unable to protect a 2-run lead. Now he's been given a 1-run lead that he's going to try to hold on to. It's a 1-2 count on Gorley with 1 away. Ball 2. Two-two pitch. From 0-2 to 3-2. Gorley, the potential game-tying run. Luke Kim deals. Called strike 3. With a full count, I frankly don't know how you can let that pitch go by. Strikeout looking for Gorley. That's his second strikeout of the day. Mahwah is down to their final out. It's Zerbuck. 1 for 2 with a walk. Luke Kim looking for the win. He was already pitching, so this is not a save opportunity. And he pours a strike in there. Crowd starting to sense that a win is near. Kim deals. Fort Lee is 1 strike away from an opening day win. Luke Kim on an 0-2 pitch. That's high. Good take by Zerbuck. It's 1-2. Kim deals. Called strike 3. Not much drama there in the 7th. After struggling in the 6th, it's a 1-2-3 inning for Luke Kim. He will pick up the win, and Pete Kraljic's Fort Lee Bridgman win on opening day. 6-5 is your final against the Mahwah Thunderbirds. The 2 home runs from Mahwah are not enough. It's a comeback victory on opening day for Fort Lee. 6-5 is your final. Want to thank Michael Raftery, the Fort Lee athletic director. Want to thank our proud sponsors. Want to thank Dimitri Nanis. Want to thank you for tuning in on a Tuesday. My name is Tommy Aquilina. Once again, the Fort Lee Bridgemen beat Mahwah on opening day. The Bridgeman baseball team is 1-0. I'm Tommy Aquilina saying thank you so much for joining us on a Tuesday. Looking forward to the rest of the season. And have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody. Enjoy. Have a good one.